everyone.
Should be live. Hello, 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 everybody. Here we are. I need my pom-poms. I need my pom-poms back. Hello, hello. Hookers represented. Yes. Woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. Here we are. Here we are. Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. This is so exciting, you guys. Okay. Hello, Denise. Hello, Dana. Hello, Paula. Hello, Linda.
Hi, Dana.
Woo-hoo, woo-hoo.
Yes, Paula, Linda.
Okay, what do we got here? We've got yarn palms. We got yarn palms.
Yes.
Oh
Woohoo!
my goodness. Wow.
Not quite the same effect.
I know it doesn't have the same effect. I'm gonna have to dig out my palms. I've got more over there, but they're starting to get buried already. Okay. So let's get here. Get a little bit better light. Hello. I'm so excited. I'm sorry. I had to go take a heartburn pill. I've got heartburn already. Goodness. It has been a day. So here we are. We are live, and get this off there so I can see what I'm doing. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Oh, there's Miss Pinky Jean.
Oh, hi, Pinky Jean.
Okay, I am so very, very excited. You guys, I am so excited. Miss Cheryl and I are welcoming you guys to the very, very first, I don't want to say first annual because who knows what we're going to do with next. But this is our very, very first make along, which, as most of you know, this is created out of sheer frustration with the existing project that we were working on. So you guys, I think everybody in here already knows that I had come up with the bright idea to do a knit along, which, in and of itself is no big deal, except that, I can't knit. And so sure, let's do a knit along. And thank the Lord that Cheryl saved me. Yeah, a shawl along. And Cheryl saved me, and she held my hand every step of the way, which was a really good thing because I had no clue what I was doing. And unfortunately, I thought I had picked out something that was going to be easy to work on and that we would learn from it. And it would just be this nice little knit project that us knitters who really didn't know what we were doing could do together, because most of the knit alongs out there were just far too difficult for us. Well, what really happened was this project was boring, and almost everybody who was doing it was just not really enjoying it a whole lot. And those people, a lot of the people just dropped out. Hello, Miss Angela. And a lot of the people, they either quit doing it or they finished it off in like 2 weeks, and it's supposed to last till October, or like the delightful Miss Pinky are just plodding along with me just because they love me. And then there's Cheryl. And Cheryl would do a block and she'd go, okay, that was boring. Let's do this and fancy it up. And then we'd do another block. She'd say, ooh, I did that. So now I'm going to make another one, except this time we're going to jazz it up a bit. And then next thing we know, she's designing her own blanket. So be watching. In probably after the first of the year, we're going to be doing another make along that Miss Cheryl has designed that's going to be far more interesting than this one that I did. However, in the meantime, a bunch of us were chit-chatting one day about said square along, and they talked me into, or came up with the idea that, it would be ever so much fun if we had something different to do. Yes. Let's do a shawl, and we'll have Miss Cheryl design a shawl for us, a knit shawl that would be much more fun than these squares that we're working on, but still kind of easy but way more interesting. And we should do a crochet one too. So the crocheters will have something to work on, and the knitters will have something to work on. Well, I've never designed a shawl before.
Neither have I.
I bet I
Neither have I.
could, though. I mean, how hard could it be? So here we are, you guys. Our very first shawl along. Our very first
Shawl.
shawl along. And because it is both knit and crochet, it's a make along. And Miss Cheryl has designed the most beautiful, stunningly gorgeous shawl that she swears is easy. And she's going to hold our hand through the entire process. And it's kind of I would call it a sampler almost. Yeah, it's absolutely a sampler. And we're going to learn a lot of things. And what she has whispered in my ear is a lot of the things that we're learning in this will transfer when we go to work on her square make along.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. If you're an adventurous beginner and you get through this shawl in one piece, then your skills will have amped up a lot and you can tackle just about anything you like. Definitely. Truly, you can.
Okay, y'all hear that? We're going to amp
yarn and 2 sticks.
Amp up my skills. Did y'all hear that?
Will.
Have you seen my squares? Okay, we can do this. We can do this. So we have each created a shawl. Some would call mine a wrap because mine is rectangle and hers is triangle. This is going to be different. Hello, Miss Deb.
Hi, Deb.
This is going to be different from some of the alongs that you may see, wherein it isn't, okay, this week we're going to do this and now get that done, hurry quick. And this next week we're going to do that. Hurry up and get that done. It's not going to be like that. There aren't deadlines. However, we will be touching on how to do different things at different times. So, and we're kind of making that up as we go along too. Because we've never done this.
We were kind of thinking that these weekly sessions would be, if you've worked in advance a little bit, so something coming up and you've got problems, then you can ask them in the chat section here and we can answer them rather than saying, okay, this week do this.
Right.
And then you've got a whole week of problems where you're not having anyone to answer your questions. So I've got tutorials up and they'll keep coming, one for each section and other things like that. There's a few up at the moment, 3 I think, and one in particular on increases. So that's the 4th one. They're in a playlist. If you go to on my website, I think on my YouTube channel, I think I've only got 1 or 2 playlists that are public. You'll see it is the Falling into Winter playlist, which is the name of the shawl.
So Falling into Winter is the name of her, because Miss
it's winter almost.
Yes,
well, it's fall now.
Yeah, it's fall where she is. It's going to be winter soon, where those of us on this side of the world are just getting out of spring. Well, just getting out of winter, going into spring. So we're starting to warm up and they're starting to cool down. I can't wrap my head around that. It's just so funny. But there you go. So my shawl is called Spring Iris, the Spring Irish shawl, because the iris is the name of the pretty stitch in the middle of mine. And hers, so mine's made of a little more lightweight yarn and it's got a little more open stuff in it, open work. And hers is she chose a 4-weight, and that's what I'm going to use as well. And it's got a little more, hers is more solid because it's knit more as a winter shawl. But you have options. You have options. So, and you can
use any yarn that you like for either of the projects, so long as you keep the ratio of the needle or hook size similar to the weight of the yarn for me and larger for Robbins.
Right. And so that's one of the things with this. We wanted this project to be something very forgiving and very easy to adjust to what you wanted it to be.
I get the memo about the forgiving part.
Well, you knew that was a rule if you think I'm going to get this thing done. Oh, I'm so excited. So you guys, those of you who are joining us this evening, please drop a comment and let us know. Are you going to be doing the crocheted one, the knit one, or are you going to tackle both of them? Because that is a thing. So we all know Dana's doing the knit one. She's starting off with the knit one. Absolutely. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. She's been hiding those skills from us for all these years.
Yes, for quite a very long time. Okay, so we've got Miss Elizabeth is going to crochet. Linda's going to make both. Pinky's crocheting for now, and I know the yarn Pinky's using is gorgeous. Miss Dana, she doesn't understand that witchcraft.
No.
Deb is crocheting. Okay.
Oh, I can go back to bed.
That's what it kind of looks like here. Paula's crocheting, and I'm knitting. I am knitting. Miss Cheryl is, what are you
crocheting?
She's crocheting. And you know what, Miss Cheryl, do you have your beautiful yarn that you chose?
I do, but do you have the pictures that you could pop up?
I do.
Because the color's better on the picture that I sent you last night.
Now I gotta find it.
It shouldn't be too far back.
No, it isn't at all. There you are. Oh my gosh, you guys, look at this. Look at this gorgeous. It looks like an apple to me. It looks like a Granny Smith apple. Isn't that beautiful? And then here's another one. Oh, Deb's got her yarn just in time. Boy, that was quick. There you go. Isn't that beautiful? She's got, that's a fingering weight yarn. So even I wouldn't try that. I really want to, but I also wanted to get my project done in time for us to start this. So I did not do the fingering weight. Originally, I was going to do fingering weight. I was going to use that beautiful yarn that I got from, what's it called? That place in Canada where we get the minis.
Aberdeen?
Yes, Aberdeen wool. Yes, because I had gotten that mystery yarn in March, and it had all the beautiful greens and blues and purples, and I wanted to use that. And then I thought, I will never get that finished if I use fingering weight. So I do want to make another one out of the fingering weight, and that's something I might try in my spare time in the future. So yeah, but for now,
well, the colors just don't turn up.
Oh, it's just gorgeous.
It's looking a bit more washed out than it is, and there's lots of different colors. I thought it might be variegated enough, but sorry, not variegated too much, and it'll still show up the stitches.
Yeah,
and not detract from them for Robbin's one.
Yeah, I think it's going to be just beautiful. And especially since that one stitch is called an iris stitch, I think those spring colors are just going to be beautiful.
Yeah, and the yarn's called Cottage Garden, so I thought that fit in as well.
Cottage
I didn't know that when I picked it out of my stash.
So nice. Hello, Lefty. Good evening. Lefty says I have already knit and crochet shawl whips, so she's going to work on them after finishing your current project. Nothing wrong with that. And there's Mr. Steve. Hello. Question is multiples. Okay, we'll talk about that in just a second. So we have several people doing the crochet, and I know we've got some people in the background doing the knits. So we're going to have a lot of folks participating in both, it sounds like. And that is and Lefty, that is actually the joy of this, because there is no beginning or deadline, or you've got to start this week or anything like that. I wanted this to be no pressure. And this is still, even though we're doing a separate video than the square blocks, it's still kind of going hand in hand with the square blocks, because that thing's going until the end of time. I don't think we're ever going to finish that. I was just saying that today. I don't think this is ever going to end. I believe and I'm going from memory here, but I want to say that thing is literally scheduled until October.
Oh
So
yes, yeah, it finishes in October.
have you got all of those squares done, Cheryl?
Mm,
You do, don't you?
yes,
Yeah, of course.
I did. Oh yeah, I've had those done for a little while. Yes.
See, and I don't. I do.
Because someone threw me into the designing
right,
pool, and yeah,
and
with
off she
review,
went.
by the way, in case anyone is under the misimpression that I designed this. No, Robbin decided this.
Oh yeah, that was mine. She's like, this thing is boring, because every week she would come up with a new design for the block we were working on. I'm like, why don't you just design your own blanket?
Yeah, or just
And
some fixes to the existing pattern were.
That's a wonderful idea. And off she went. And then she'd go, oh, we're going to do this kind of block. And oh, we're going to do that kind of a block. And I'm like, oh, what I've
Robbin
created.
got a bit scared.
Oh, yes. Very scared. I'm very scared. So the way we're going to do this evening, we're going to talk a little bit about the blocks. See, here we go. We're going to talk a little bit about the individual shawls. We're going to go through the first few rows of mine. And again, very, very easy. You should have access to both patterns in the description box here down below. We being Cheryl, have placed them in Dropbox. Some people are having problems accessing that. If you cannot access it, give me or Cheryl, drop us an email. I should have put your email in there. I did not. After
it's in my page in the about section.
And you guys are going to want to go over to Cheryl's website. Well, you have to watch the video anyway. And please subscribe. She is not going to ask you because she's too shy to do that. However,
I'm not too shy. I just don't care.
I'm going to ask you to please subscribe to her. Please please do all the things, because we want to get her website built up. Or not website. You guys know what I mean. Channel. And drop one of us an email, and we will send the PDF to you that she has also created. This is what's going on with Ravelry. Apparently, maybe it's something new, but when you send something to Ravelry, they have to approve it before you can upload it. And who knows how long that's going to take.
Because they get thousands of patterns a day, and I don't know how big their team is to check them. Even if they're free, because it's a free pattern, it doesn't matter. Anything that you put up, they just check it for inappropriateness to make sure it follows some sort of guide. I pity the poor person who's going to look through mine. It's 19 pages long.
So, and mine's only 2 pages, so they can probably just go bloop, bloop, and
I might submit yours. Did you want it on my page, my Ravelry page?
Yeah, we'll throw it on there. We'll do that first, just to get it out there, and then we can figure out later how to wiggle it around. So it's going to be in the Dropbox, and if you have issues with that, and then past that, we'll figure out something different as well. But it'll be in the description box of each of the videos, and it should be. Apparently, I didn't get it in this morning's, but it's going forward. It's in the description box of the morning videos as well. Speaking of videos, speaking of lives, Miss Cheryl often has joined us in our morning lives, but for her, it's 2 a.m, and we cannot ask that of her each and every week. Thank you so much, Pinky. Thank you, Linda. So we feel very blessed when she joins us. We love and appreciate when she helps us in those morning lives, but I can't in good conscience say, okay, it's 1 a.m, get up, let's go. Because I wouldn't do that. I like very few people well enough to do something like that. So we kind of want her awakened at her best when she's teaching us how to do these things. Okay. So Pinky dropped to put it in her Dropbox app for later. I did that, and then it wouldn't let me print. So who knows? I'm sure it's operator error, as it usually is on these techie things.
We should work differently on phones to desktops. See, I haven't had any problems even when I'm not logged into Dropbox getting to them.
Good.
Oh, thank you, guys.
Good. Yeah. Oh, here it is. I'm trying to find my lip stuff because my lips are getting very dry. Okay, so I'm going to show you the first 3 rows of mine, or at least tell you how to do the first 3 rows of mine, which are super, super, super easy. And Steve's over there rolling his eyes going, oh, couldn't be any easier. Why do you have to show us? And then,
because
yeah,
there could be someone there who is so new.
I have to feel needed a little bit, Steve. I have to feel a little needed. And then Miss Cheryl's going to take over and show us how to do, what's it called?
The cast on and set up row section. So the first 8 rows, but it's small. It's like ends up being that big.
Yep.
And it's easy. Yay.
And what we've done, if I've done it right, is we've got it set up so we can watch the video, her tutorial video, the little chunk of her showing us how to do that part as well. Yes, Lefty. For several people, the morning video was during church time. We got that feedback from folks, and that's the other reason we decided to do this time frame as well. So I think this was a good time frame for a lot of folks. So Miss Cheryl, what time is it for you now?
It's nearly 11:30.
And what day is
it? In the morning on Monday. It's Monday.
It's tomorrow for you.
It's tomorrow.
Isn't that awesome? That kind of stuff it blows me away. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I'm so used to converting time to either Pacific time or Central time in the USA that I forget what day it is and whose video I'm supposed to be watching and when I'm supposed to be places, because I'm always in American days and times now, converting it so often.
Yep. Okay, is everybody ready to play? I'm so excited. Okay, so if you're going to do this crocheted shawl, let me see if I can untangle myself here. If you're going to do this crocheted shawl, and trust me, you guys, Miss Cheryl saved me yet again, because I got this thing all typed up and I was so proud of myself, and I sent it off to her and she's like, do you mind if I just tidy it up a bit? She tidied. You guys,
I'm human. Don't believe me. I'm human. I'm not this superhuman human person she's making me out to be.
Yeah.
Thanks for the encouragement.
Tidied. All right. So this is, I wanted something that was fairly easy to do, and yet it looked nice. And I think I've accomplished that. Now my shawl is...
Make yourself big.
Make myself big. Okay. My shawl is 6 feet wide. Oh, that's my wingspan here. I can't even wingspan it all the way out. So I'm 6 feet wide here. And I am 16 inches from... We figured it out. It's just about my wrist to my elbow. So 16 inches from here to here. And that is using the DK. And of course I use the Anthem DK, which if anybody wants to get any, we still have several colors available in the shop. And this was the bachelor button. Turned out beautiful. This was super nice to work with. I did go up a couple hook sizes from what it recommended. I ended up using the 5.5 millimeter, which is an eye hook, and I used my furls on that. So for me, I wanted something that had a nice drape. I started out with 4, and it wasn't like dense and tight, but it just was not as drapey as I wanted a shawl to be. So I definitely went up to the larger hook size. I used 4 skeins, and I wanted to show you, I still have it marked on here.
It's on the front. Turn it around. There it is.
Yep, there it is. So this was 2, that was 3, and then the last one. And I had 8 grams left over, which are not in my bag anymore. So I had plenty left over. And I also wanted to show you this. On my edging, I took part of that and I did just a simple single crochet edging, single crochet on that edge. Nothing
I think it
fancy.
finishes off perfectly.
I didn't do any fancy count or anything. I just went down the edge. And I'll show you what. Look at the difference. Just that little simple. I did it on one side and I didn't do it on the other side, just so you guys could see the difference that simple crochet, single crochet made. And then this one is the raw edge. I was really surprised at what a difference that made. So you can do you can do a little fancier if you want, but if you just want to do just a simple single crochet on there, I think it really does a good job of just giving a little finished look. I hadn't planned on doing anything, but I just saw that edge and I'm like, it just needs a little something. And so I just did that. Pinky, I don't consider myself a tight crocheter. No, not anymore. Years ago, maybe, but no, I don't think I'm a tight crocheter. I think I'm a pretty even crocheter. I'm trying to think. Do I usually meet gauge when somebody? I do typically have to go up. I do.
But then you don't know what the pattern person's gauge
right.
is.
And that's what I was going to say.
It used to be in the old days. In the old days, all patterns used to be standardized. So it was made to the same gauge for every pattern. But now, because there are so many independent designers, you don't know if they're a tight or a loose or, a Goldilocks type tension.
Right. But yeah, I don't consider myself a tight crocheter. Not at all, actually. So, but somebody else might think I am. But I don't think so. So that's that. Okay, so if you're following my pattern, you'll see that I don't give you a number for how many chains to start with. And that is because you can make this however big or small you want. And the important thing on this is you need, in order to make that iris stitch work, it's going to be a multiple. And it's a multiple of 4 plus 1. And I think this is what you're talking about, Steve. So it's a multiple. It's not 4 plus 3. It's a multiple of 4 plus 1 to make the iris stitch work. And then 2 more. And that's because you know how it is when we go chain, 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 and then you make your first stitch, you're going to skip those first couple of chains. So that's 4 plus 1 for the iris stitch, and then 2 more so we can skip those first 2 chains. Now, if you're going to do a foundation double crochet for your first row, then you don't add those last 2 chains, or those last 2 chains. So if you're going to start with chains, it's
Steve, no, that won't work. Oh, sorry, not for you. That was Steve's comment. No, 5 plus 2 won't work.
5 plus 2.
So you do a multiple.
It's 4 plus 1.
Multiple of 4 and add 3.
Yeah, it's 4 plus 1 if you're doing a foundation chain, some foundation row. It's 4 plus 1 plus 2 if you're going to do a chain row. So that's your count. That's how you're going to figure out your count.
Yes. So it's 4, 4, 4, 4, 4 until it's long enough. Then plus 1 if you're doing the foundation crochet row, and then plus another 2 if you're doing the regular chains.
Yeah. Okay. So now, when I did mine to make mine 6 feet long with this project, I chained 247 chains, and that included my plus 1 plus 2. So it's multiples of 4 plus 1 to get your iris stitch correct, and then add 2 more to that. That's the trickiest part of this whole thing, right there, figuring out your multiple. And if it doesn't work out right, you just throw in an extra stitch somewhere along the way.
Yes.
This is such a forgiving pattern.
So can I just address Steve's one?
Absolutely.
Because it does seem like 4 + 1 + 2 would be the same as 5 + 2. But what you would be doing then is adding 1 stitch extra for every 4 stitches rather than do the whole multiple of 4
Yeah.
and then add just 1 stitch. So say, for example, I was doing 23 stitches. So that would be 4 times 5. That was probably a bad example. Say I'm doing 39 stitches. That would be 4 times 9, which is 36. Then plus the 1, 37. Then plus the 2 would be 39. But if I did it 9 times 5, that's 45. And then add 2, that's 47. So 5 plus 2 doesn't, multiple of 5 plus 2 won't work. Yeah, 4 plus 3, do it 4 plus 3 and you'll be fine. If you're doing just a long chain, if you're doing the foundation chain, it's a multiple of 4 plus 1.
Just plus 1, yeah. So, and then multiple of 4 and either 3 or 1. Yes. Yeah. I had to think there for a second, Steve. Yeah. I did it both ways. I did it with the foundation chain and I did it with the regular chain. I actually liked it better with the regular chain than with the foundation, but to each his own. It took me twice as long with that silly foundation than it did with regular chains, but it also could be because I don't use the foundation that often.
Yes. So whereas someone like Dana who uses it a lot would probably find it easier.
Yeah. So as for instance, with my little sample here that I just whipped up for the show, I did my multiples of, it was 24. So I did 24 plus 2 plus 1. So I chained 27 to get this. And part of the problem was I didn't know what I was doing. And I watched 2 or 3 different videos and every one of them told me to do it a different way. And I ended up going in a circle and I'm like, this won't be right.
Yes. Dana's got a good one.
Again.
Dana's got a good one on her channel for how to do it. Yes.
But I couldn't remember which one it was because it didn't say foundation crochet tutorial. It just was thrown in there on one of them. Okay. So I'm going to show you once you get your count figured out. And you know what I did, because it's me. I figured out kind of a big number. And then I chained that many, and that was the 200 and whatever I said, 247 or whatever. And then I stood up. I'm like, yep, that's about right. And then I added more. That's why the number I was telling you, Cheryl, wasn't the number I ended up with.
Right.
Because I wanted to make sure this thing was at least 6 feet long. So even after I did my chains, I added about another 6 inches of chains, because you know how it is. Sometimes when you start crocheting these things, they shrink up, those chains shrink up a little bit. And I had already done one that ended up shorter than I expected. I wanted to make sure this thing was long enough. And it was a good thing I did that, because it actually ate about 4 inches up after I got my thing done. So I just stood up and raised my arm as high as I could. And then when I did that, I counted my chain and make sure my multiple worked. Now, here is an option. Miss Amber isn't she, of course, she's doing hers differently. And if you are not a person who you go, oh my Lord, that's a long way across. You don't have to do it that way. You can do it this way. So you're just going across this many. And if you want to go back and forth, that's what she's going to do. And she's going to use up a bunch of her leftover yarn. And she's going to go this way for a while and then change color and go this way for a while and then change color and go this way for a while. And she's thinking she might do each section a different color, which will be really cool. And so that'd be a great way to use up scrap yarn, or a great way to turn it into, if you've got like school colors or something like that that you want to use up. And especially if you're using up bits of yarn, if you're worried about running out, do it this direction. Absolutely. So that's another way of doing that. Personally, I like the Irish stitch going this direction.
Yes, I do too.
You do you. You do you. And
I'm going to start off doing it acrossways just to see how many stitches I need for, or how many chains I need for the long way before I, because I don't want that situation to happen where you do, 300 chain and find out that it's, 3 feet too short.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, like Cheryl's got a limited number of balls of yarn in that color. So, that could be a thing that she chooses to do. So, but that's absolutely.
I will do it long ways, but to start for these sessions, I'll do it the short way so I can work out the gauge.
Oh, yeah.
The stitch gauge.
There you go. But there are some people, like, especially if you're like one of those people that are kind of don't do blankets. So this number of stitches wide could be daunting for you. So then you could do it the other direction, and that might make your brain happy. So you do whatever makes your brain happy. We want you to enjoy this project. If you're one of those weird people like Dana that only works on one project at a time, I don't understand that. But I know there's people that do that.
Okay. And we're friends with them?
No. Yeah.
Kidding, guys.
And the only reason I know this is because I just worked on this to get it done for y'all. This took me not even a week, when this was the only thing I worked on. And for some reason, it happened to be a week where I didn't have 1,100,000 things going on. That is not my life most weeks. But that particular week, I had a pretty down week. And I got this done in less than a week. So this is not a daunting project. And that included me undoing it a couple of times and starting over. So yeah, so it really is a quick work. It really does work up quick. Okay, so how are we going to make this thing? Let's tear this out and let's see. I highly, highly, highly recommend that you have a couple of stitch markers. Hola, Maritza. Hola. We're just getting ready to start this. All right. Now, I chained, what did I just say? I did, for this, my little sample-y one, I did 24 plus 2 plus 1, which was so that I end up with 24 across. I don't want to tear out my chains. Okay. Now, if I have not torn this out wrong, you want to make sure you've got it at least 2 stitch markers. I always have 6 because I'm going to lose these 2 multiple times as I'm doing this. Okay, so got my instructions right here in my lap. My instructions. And I do want to say something about the instructions. They're only 2 pages. And of course, I've already lost 1 page. Cut it off. When you're reading these instructions, one thing, you're going to find an instruction here for double crochet 2 together, which explains to you what a double crochet 2 together is. However, when we're looking at the pattern, the double crochet 2 together in the first or last stitch is the one that we're typically doing. Okay, so you're going to want to mark that. So because this top one is a decrease, and we're not doing a decrease. But I wanted you guys to see what this stitch typically looks like when you find it out in the wild. Okay, so the second description is what we are doing on this pattern. Okay, everybody clear? And I might go in and make a change to that. So that's
call it something else.
Yeah. Okay. So to start with, we've got our chains. So get your hooks and chain up, chain up. All right, so I've got 24 plus 2 plus 1, which means I want to end up with 24 stitches. Okay, now I'm going to skip the first 2 and make my first double crochet in the 3rd chain for the hook. So that accounts for the plus 2. Okay, so we're just going to skip that. We're going to do a double crochet and we're going to double crochet across. So that's the whole, get over here. That's the whole row 1 right there. Boom. Now, I just made my first stitch and I am going to pull that loop up, take out my hook, and I'm going to put my first stitch marker right there. And I am going to do this on every single row. So this thing does not grow or shrink. Boom, there's my stitch marker, especially on those first rows when you're making weird little things like that. That took 3 seconds and it will save you so much heartache. So much heartache. Okay, now I'm just going to double crochet across. So everybody got your multiples figured out? Unless you just want to use mine, which was 247. That's what I used originally on my original shawl. Okay, 247. And that got me 6 inches. I keep saying 6 inches. It was a little more than 6 inches wide. Everybody knows how to double crochet. Anybody in here going to be doing, other than Miss Dana, anybody going to be doing the foundation double crochet? I just really struggle with that. When I first heard about that, I thought, that's going to be fantastic. And I know
it's one of those things, it's still just practice. The more you do it, the better you get at it.
You do it, the better you get at it. Mm-hmm. Now I've got myself a big knot. I should have been more careful when I undid that. Okay, so nobody's going to do that foundation double crochet, it looks like. Just Dana. Tell me what color you use. Huh?
I was going to say, if I wasn't on camera, I'd be wearing 2 pairs of glasses because this fingering weight.
Oh.
And a small hook. There we go. Now I can see what I'm doing.
Now you can see what you're doing.
And guys, it works. It really works.
Mm-hmm. Dana, have you always used that, or is that something fairly new where you've been doing that foundation double? Okay. 1. And Dana would be yelling at me because my stitches are a little sloppy here because I'm hurrying. Every time I try the foundation, it turns into an arc. See, that was the problem that I had. But I think it straightens itself up afterwards, after when you get to the next row. Okay, so I've got to the end of my row now. And what does my instruction say? What does my recipe say? It says chain 1 and turn. Now, I am going to put my fingers right here where I ended that stitch. And I'm going to do, for row 2, hi Samantha, normally I would stop and mark off row 1, but I want to get this double crochet together, and then I would do that. So I'm going to bring out this instruction and see now, how is it I do this thing? So remember, I'm not doing the top where it says double crochet 2 together. I'm doing the second one because it's a double crochet 2 together in the first or the last stitch. So
in this case, it's
yarn over, insert the hook, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, doop, 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 doop. Yarn over And this is the tricky part. Are you ready? Are you ready? We're going to yarn over, go into the same stitch.
Yes. Yep.
Yarn over and pull up a loop. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Do I yarn over again? Yep. Yarn over and go through all the loops. The trick here is we want to do both of these in the same stitch. Whereas if we were doing the normal one, we would have done it in stitch 1 and stitch 2 and done a decrease. We're not decreasing. The whole point of this is to make a nice solid stitch on that edge. Okay, now I'm going to yank this up so I don't lose my stitch. I'm going to grab my stitch marker and I'm going to put it right here on that first stitch. And we are ready to go. Row 2, I'm going to mark off row 1. I'm going to go row 2, which is double crochet all the way across. Okay. Any questions so far? Samantha wants to know what we're working on. Well, Samantha, this is our shawl along, and this is the crochet shawl. So we started with the crochet because it's really simple. Really, really simple. That's right. Dana's got all of her yarn is sitting waiting for her at home. Now, I would count the stitches on that first row and make sure you ended up with however many that your starting count was. So remember, mine was 24 plus 1 plus 2. So I should have 24 stitches there, right?
No, 25.
25? Yes, you're right. 25. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 24. See, maybe that's why I was off. That first row. I often end up off on that first row.
Ah. I don't know how if you chain.
I did. Okay, we're going to crochet across. And I'm going to count again when we're done. So we're going to double crochet across. Skip 2. I put my first crochet in the second, in the third chain from the hook. And I end up off by 1 on that first one every time I do this. And I've done it 4 times. And then after that first one, it's perfect. So I'm going to be interested when we get to that part and see what happens. How many times did I do this? And how many times was I off by 1?
And I couldn't figure out why. I couldn't figure out why.
Nope, never could figure out why. It should work fine. But I'll show you how to fix it when we get to that point.
Yes.
If it ends up off.
Just do the 2 doubles in the last stitch and don't do them together. Yeah.
So we're just doing doubles all the way across to the end, and then we're going to do another one of those where it is 2 together in that last stitch. And again, that's just to give that end thing a little stability. And I've got my stitch marker there so I can tell exactly where that last stitch is so it does not get lost in the shuffle. Da, 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 da. Here we go. I'm going to take it out. Okay, so we go in, pull 1 up. See, and I'm even going to look at my instructions so I don't mess this up. Pull 1 up, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go into the same stitch, yarn over, pull it up, go through 2, yarn over, go through all 3, chain 1, and turn. Up, and I got a little bit of a knot because of making when I undid that. Oh, it's a real knot. It's a real live knot. Boy, we sure get good at undoing knots with this little hobby of ours, don't we? Okay, so I'm going to turn it. And I'm going to hold on to that little spot. And now row 3, This is the last row we're going to do right now. Row 3, we're doing a half double crochet in this row. So at the beginning of it, we're doing a half double crochet 2 together in that first stitch. And the instructions are on here. So we're going to yarn over, insert it into there, pull it through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, go back in that first stitch, pull it through, go through 2, go through all of them. And then we half double crochet all the way across. And that's it, folks. That's it. So that's the first 3 rows. And then when you get to the end, do another half double crochet 2 together and make sure you put your stitch marker there. Which, see, I have already lost. There it is. I lose so many of these things. Da, da, da. Yeah, they're all on the floor under the couch. The other thing that I do if I have to put this thing down, I would take that loop and I would tuck that inside of my stitch marker as well.
Yes.
Just so I don't lose my stitch. So that's rows 1, 2, and 3. The first 2 rows are your double crochet. Your third row is half double crochet with the half double or double 2 together at the ends. Okay.
Samantha, I'm from Australia.
Easy peasy. Any questions? Next week we'll do the iris stitch.
Yes.
Any questions from anybody? Yeah, the vacuums eat your stitch markers. Yeah, I get that.
I use these like elastic band ones for knitting, and when I'm transferring them, sometimes I'll just fling across the room, and so I find them in all places. Yeah.
Is it clear as mud, everybody?
Nearly midday Monday here, Samantha.
No questions?
No questions.
No questions? All right. Then let's knit. Okay, so Cheryl's going to teach us how to do the starting thingy. And I have printed off the first couple of pages of mine. And I'm going to follow that along. Plus, I'm going to play the video when I hope I actually got past the abbreviations. I may not have. Oh, I did. There it is. There's the actual part. Okay. And yes. Okay. I'm ready.
Hi, Erica.
I'm ready. Hi, Erica.
I'm in Queensland, in rural Queensland.
Okay. So let me get my yarn and get my needles.
I don't understand your comment there, Steve, or more or less. Section 0, yes, section 0, which is the cast on and the setup row. So first 8 rows.
Yeah, that's what it says. Section 0.
I thought I'd call it section 0 because you don't repeat it at all. Whereas if you're wanting to make your shawl longer, especially if you're using a smaller weight yarn, you can repeat any of the sections, except obviously you can't cast on again.
Oh, I don't know. I tried the other day.
I'd like to see.
I tried to cast on again the other day after I messed that up. Okay. Not here. Okay. So you want to talk? And let me know when you're ready for me to run the video.
Oh, I really don't know what you want me to say. That we haven't covered before. I guess if we've got new people. So this is the Falling into Winter shawl. It's in the file. I mentioned that I use a worsted weight. I used NACO's Mona Lisa, and it's quite a dense shawl, being for winter. I haven't sewn in my ends yet, and Which way is up? This way is up.
Well, I'm going to make you big so we can see that beautiful shawl.
Okay. So this is the shawl here.
Oh my gosh, that's so pretty.
And today, in the first section, we're just doing the cast on here, and I do an alternate to the garter tab, and then we increase for about 5 rows. And then this is also the stockinette section. So we only get to about here today. I'll show it on another. We only do about this much. And then the second section is the stockinette section, and that's section 1. And then we've got a chain stitch here as our separator, and the chain stitch I use to separate each of the sections. And the stitches kind of get progressively harder, but not impossible. They're nothing that you can't handle. If you can confidently knit, do the knit stitch and the purl stitch, cast on, cast off, you've got this. Yeah, so whatever weight yarn that you choose, I'd only maximum go up 1 needle size from what the ball band recommends, because you want it as a more dense stitch definition. If it's too light and airy, the stitches won't show up, especially the star stitch. You lose a lot of definition if the star stitch is loose and it just looks like pulled loops. So it is quite dense. You can try it with various needle sizes. Just even you'll get an idea in the cast on section. So I went with a worsted weight and a 6mm needle, which is US size 10. And you also need a smaller needle as well, not for today, but in the separator section, you do use the smaller needle. Or if you're really confident working on the tips of your needle, you won't need the smaller needle at all. Okay, so are there any questions before we, Robbin? Oh, thanks, Pinky. It was, it's the first one I've designed. I usually do blankets and I only do them for myself. So I've never written a pattern for other people to see. This one's aimed at advanced beginners, but I hope there's something that every level of knitter can find either interesting or something new in there. Okay. Oh, and if you downloaded the original copy, so it's only been up a day and a bit, but it doesn't tell you what needle to start with, what needle size. You start with your largest needle if you're going to have 2 needles. So I'd start with a 6mm. Okay, I think that's all the introduction we need. Robbin, if you wanted to start the video, and you can anytime the videos will be up there for you to look at. For each section I'll be putting up a video, so you don't have to sit here and listen to me. You can watch the video instead and listen to me chat on and on and on.
So a couple people had asked where the pattern was. So the patterns are linked down below in the description box, and also they are linked in my morning video. The Sunday morning video also has these patterns linked in there as well. If anybody, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say hi, Lisa. I noticed Lisa's from Australia as well.
Oh, how nice!
Yeah.
Hello, welcome in. If anybody is having a problem with the Dropbox not allowing you to access them, please send either of us an email, and we'll send you a PDF copy. We'll email you a PDF copy. Okay.
Okay. So do you want to make this together and then put the video on this morning?
We do that? We did this and
it underneath.
Right. And then we got to go over here, share screen, and go here. Oh, I think it's still there. Okay. Now I have to go I have to go over here. Okay, can you guys see it?
No. We're still side by side.
Okay, let's do it again. Oh, I didn't click share. There.
Okay.
Is it working?
Yes.
Okay, ready, set, go.
To start the cast on, we put the yarn over our needle, and it doesn't matter if the tail is at the back of the needle or if it's at the front. Whichever way it goes on, it goes on. Just make sure your tail's long enough that you can weave in later. Now we draw it. We bring the tail in front of the working yarn, so the working yarn is behind the tail, and then I just hold the tail against the needle with my other hand, and so we have one loop on our needle. We go in as if to knit, and we knit the stitch. Oops, I'm a bit close. So we go in as if to knit the stitch, draw it back, but we don't take it off the needle now. What we do is we do a yarn over and go into that same stitch again, knit it again, and then we can take it off the needle, and we've got 3 stitches. I'll do that part again. So we drape the yarn over our needle, bring the tail.
This is just showing the same thing again.
And hold it against.
With the yarn in the different direction.
Insert into the loop. And knit the stitch. Okay, we don't take it off yet. We wrap the yarn around the needle and knit into the stitch again. Snug it down a little bit. We have 3 loops on our hook, and that's how we start.
And that's the whole first row.
Turn our work.
That's the whole first row.
Okay. And our second row is to knit all stitches.
So this one flies along to start with because there's so few stitches, but it gets big pretty quick.
Okay. Row 2 is complete. Row 3, we start with the a knit stitch, but then we do the back loop increases. So we knit the first stitch, and then we do a back loop increase. So holding the yarn, turn it round, pop it onto the working needle. Then the pattern says to knit the next stitch, and then do a backward loop increase. Making sure not to split the yarn.
Oh, thanks, Steve.
And then we knit the final stitch.
And I'll just say here at the beginning of the video, so we jump 3 minutes in,
So now
I do a thing on how to do the backward loop just by itself.
We turn the work, and for row 4, we knit each stitch. So row 4 is complete. We've knitted all the stitches. Turn and work on row 5. Row 5, we knit the first stitch. And then we do a backward loop increase. And knit the next stitch. And repeat that all the way to the end. A backward loop increase. And knit the next stitch. A backward loop increase. knit the next stitch, a backward loop increase, and knit the last stitch. We should have 9 stitches on our needle at the moment. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Okay. Row 6 is knit all stitches. So the wrong side rows are pretty straightforward so far, just knit them. Row 7 is our final increase row. It's a little bit different. We only in the start and the end. We knit the first 3 stitches, and these stitches will become our border stitches for the rest of the shawl. So we knit 3 and then we do a backward loop increase. And knit 1, then a backward loop increase, knit the next stitch. And we do this until we have 2 stitches remaining. Backward loop increase, knit the next stitch.
Oh, thanks, Jennifer.
Backward loop increase.
I hope that was my intention. I hope it does, if people are trying it, that they do find it
We
easy.
have 2 stitches remaining. We just knit those. And that's row 7 complete. We should have 13 stitches. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. That's the last increase row. And row 8 will be the final row of the final setup row.
Nearly there, guys.
And this is where our stitch markers come in. So we knit the first 3 stitches.
Night, Dana.
Good night, Dana. Talk to you tomorrow.
And then place a stitch marker onto our working needle. Bring the yarn to the front and purl the next 3 stitches. Place another marker, and this will section off. So we've got the border, then we'll have what I call the wedge stitches, and then we have the next stitch is a purl stitch. That will be our center stitch, our center spine stitch. So we put a stitch marker after that, and then we purl the next 3 stitches, and this will be what I call this second wedge, or just another wedge. Place the final stitch marker on and knit the last 3 stitches, which is the border for the other side of the shawl. And that's it. We've completed the setup rows for the shawl. What I like to do is just pop this other stitch marker on the front just until you get started, and you can easily tell which is the front and which is the back. So
And
there you
that's
have
it.
it.
Whoops.
Okay. I hope you
Oh,
found
that's it.
this.
All right. I think that was fabulous. Wasn't that
I try to keep them simple. And I thought it was easier to do each section so that people don't get overloaded with information, and you can just rewatch a short video.
Mhm.
And I think I explained in that, because it was like a week ago I did that the stitch markers, so as you get further along, between the first and the second stitch marker will grow. That's where all your increases will happen, which is why I call it a wedge, because it fans out like this. So you've got 2 wedges, and the center stitch will always just be 1 stitch in there. Yeah, so, and it actually, just doing the simple increases, the way it fans out, it's really pretty. I've never known increases to be so nice, and invisible, basically. Yeah. Thank you, Steve. So yeah, that video is on my channel, obviously, and you can watch it as often as you like, as you need. And these sessions, like if there's something in there that you don't understand, we can explain it further. I think that one was pretty straightforward. Or you can email me. You won't regret it, Jennifer. They're very complimentary crafts, I think. Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's me done. Thanks, Samantha. Well, if you're talking to me, but thanks for Robbin as well.
Yes. So now if we get through that part and we want to move on to the next part, we can read the instructions. And then you've got another video for the next part, correct?
I do. It's called section 1. So wherever you are in the pattern, it'll have a heading. So the next section is, we'll get the correct page. Next section is the stocking stitch. And the one thing, you'll get sick of hearing me say this, but I really encourage you to count the number of stitches between your wedges, at least when you get to the end of a section. And that's why you'll see in the pattern that I've got boxes here for wedge 1 and wedge 2. It doesn't matter which one you assign that number, just so that you can see, yes, I've got the same number in both. I'm on track. And if you get off, there's a whole section on how to get back on track. But it's not meant, like, if I saw this in a pattern, I'd probably go, yeah, no, I'm not going to do it. So it's just there to write it down. If you do need to frog your work, you go, okay, I need to frog my work. I'll go back to the last section where I knew I was on track, and you'll know that it's, at section 1 or at section 2. So yes, the whole pattern has a title, and that will be the title of the video. It'll say section 0, section 1, section 2. There's a special one on the increases. It's all in a playlist. I should have actually, there's a link in the pattern. There's a link that you can click, and it will take you to my playlist already in the pattern. I think on the first page. And you don't have, well, depending on your computer settings, you shouldn't have to copy and paste. You can just click the link. So it's there.
It's easy to get to a playlist once you get to someone's channel. It's,
yes.
So
I think I only have 1 or 2 playlists that are public.
Yeah. So that'll be fun.
Oh,
that'll be fun.
I think the aliens are landing. My count is going on and
I
off.
See that. I see that. So does anybody have any questions about that first section on the knit part? Your video was so well done and explained it so easily. And Steve was right. It was easy to understand. There weren't a lot of distractions. And I know what he means. I have seen some videos where there was such a busy design on the table, so much going on. You couldn't even pay attention to what they were trying to show you. So it was very nice to see what your setup was like. It made it quite easy to watch.
Oh, and that's good.
Appreciate that.
I appreciate the feedback, because you never know.
Mm-hmm. And you guys, it is not hard it is not hard. It is not easy to make those tutorials. You've got your arms out like this, and it's
here, and
you got to think up here. It is not natural at all. Not at all. So, yep. So, okie dokie. Then I think we are set. I think we're ready, set, go. If you don't have your yarn already, grab something that's going to work for you. And as Cheryl said, if when you're getting ready to get to points where you haven't done things before, it's a good idea to practice on something that you're not using for your main project. And I am going
all you'll need is a little swatch. So this is I've made this one to come up for my next tutorial, which I haven't recorded yet. And so I'm just working on 15 stitches to start with, so that I can, it's no problem ripping it out if you make a mistake.
Mm-hmm.
I find that. So I do it myself when I'm doing a new pattern. I'll just do a small sample to practice it. So, because, I don't want to be wasting my expensive yarn on ripping it out and doing it and ripping it out. Yeah.
Well, and because you guys know some yarns do not rip well, and
No.
some yarns get worn as you do that. Yeah. Good. Well, yeah, absolutely. Watch this from the beginning if you have any problems. And you guys know where to find us. We're pretty easy to track down. So the patterns are in the description box below. Send us an email. Oh, also, I should put that up again. Let me put the link up for the box for the messenger group, because we do have a messenger group, and we figured out today how to do the invite. Copy. So this is the invite for the messenger group, and whoops, get rid of that. Paste. There, that's the messenger group. And so you can go there, you can ask questions, you can put up pictures, and we find that we see that stuff all the time. So that's a pretty quick, for me even, that's probably quicker than email. I'm going to see that.
Here. Yes, even if it is, Robbin, I've sent you an email. And it goes bing, and I know I need to check my emails, because I check my emails once a day.
I check mine hundreds of times a day, but I easily get 1,000 emails a day between my 5 different accounts. So, and things will go to a junk email and I never see them. So, yeah. So if you've sent an email and you haven't heard from us, send something over to that messenger, and we're much more likely to see it quickly there.
Yes. And I think I like the format that we had today, where the crochet was first and the knit second, because it seems like the majority of people are doing the crochet one.
Well, and this is way quicker.
And I wouldn't want to sit through three-quarters of an hour of me blathering on to get to the other part that I'm interested in.
No, yours is so interesting. Don't you guys think, even if you're not knitting, isn't it so interesting to watch that? How many people said, oh my gosh, I need to learn how to knit after watching that little thing? Yes. Wow. Yes. So that's the it's the
Facebook.
It's the make along. It's the make along messenger group.
Yeah, Steve, I knew I could count on you.
Go, Steve. Go, Steve.
Yeah. And it's a great name. My husband's name's Steve as well.
Oh, good.
With a V.
For you. We're going to end up sucking Peking Jean into it, because she's going to finish this way quicker than she thinks.
Yeah. She'll have that finished by tomorrow.
Yep.
Yes. Or Jennifer, you can just download the Messenger app. You don't need to have it connected to Facebook.
Yeah, see, I don't know much about that. But yeah. So any questions before we head out? If you have any problems with the patterns, if you don't understand something, again, you guys are testing the patterns for your pattern. You're our official pattern testers.
That's right. So, whether you like it or not.
Yeah. And so don't be surprised if we come back next week and make changes, because you guys are the first ones. And we have seen it so many times that you get blind to it. So
you do. When you do something over and over again, you don't realize. For example, in the reason that there's an updated version of my pattern is someone in the messenger groups just happened to say, I'm having trouble with this part, and I made a suggestion on how she could fix it. And she said, oh, I guess I should have started with the larger needles for this row. And I thought, yeah, but I didn't mention in the pattern which needles to start with. And usually when you're knitting something like a jumper, you will start with the smaller needle, and then for the main body, a larger needle.
I see.
I didn't even think of that. So that's why there's now an instruction in there which needle size to use first.
I see.
The things you take for granted.
Yep, there you go. Yeah, you're exactly right. And so, and that's why we have to put those little details in that we just kind of assume people know, and they don't. They absolutely don't. So there you go.
Good day.
All righty then. If we don't have any other questions, we're going to go. Y'all know how to get a hold of us if there's anything that comes up. And if we find anything glaringly wrong, you know, we're on lives all the time, and we'll tell you.
Put it on community tabs as well.
We both have community tabs. We will put it in the community tab, and we'll put it in that RWR
yes,
make along thing. That'll be the place to look for that kind of stuff. So, okay.
You'll be sick of looking at us by the time this project's ended. Don't worry. We'll be here everywhere.
All right. Thank you ever so much, you guys. I cannot tell you how much I appreciate you coming. This has been so exciting for both of us. And we both have learned a great deal already, and cannot wait to see how. And also put pictures up in that RWR thing.
Yes.
Post your pictures. We cannot wait to see them, see how things, even if it's just your first little chunk, let's get some pictures up and see how it's coming along. Cannot wait. All righty.
I was thinking, Robbin, too, we should at the end like have everyone email their pictures, and then we can choose one. And I'm happy to send a prize to.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes, absolutely.
And just a random. It's not like, oh, I like that one better than that one.
No. Just be a random draw for a prize.
Yeah, whoever sends in a picture of their work, however far along you are, so we'll pick a time.
Yep.
Give it a month or two.
If you're doing it, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That sounds great. We'll figure out some kind of a prize.
Yes.
All right. We'll see you guys next Sunday at this time. It seems like people liked having this in the evening. And you know I'm talking about it in all my other stuff too. So we'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.